Hello guys, NautoAis here, and I want to give my thoughts on the Pokemon Present of February the 27th, 2024. So at first when people said it was going to be 12 minutes, people were a bit of concern, but after watching the presentation, it kind of makes sense. The elephant in the room. One, there is no new news about Pokemon games at the NSO. So people keep begging for Pokemon Company to bring in Pokemon from the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance to integrate it with, of course, the Pokemon Stadium game. But as of right now, nothing. Maybe it could be on the Nintendo Switch 2, the next Nintendo console, whatever you call it. And of course, another one is no news about the Pokemon World Championship, which is good because not a lot of people care about it. And to some extent also, clothes. People don't care about Pokemon clothes or Build-A-Bear or whatever. So for this present, I gotta give credit to the Pokemon Company why it's 12 minutes because they straight out, no explanation, showed what the trailer is. That's it. Makes sense. So did they announce any new game? Yes, they do. So I'm gonna give my thoughts about that one later. So what happened to the present and what's my thoughts about it? So first is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will have a special Terror Raid based on the Kanto starter. So Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard going to be on the Paldea as a Terra Raid. They show what the schedule is. So if you're strong enough, you're good enough, you're probably going to get it. If not, it is what it is. That's how the Terra Raid is. So the higher the star, let's just say it's hard to get them. Just saying, because I experienced it. Then the next one is Pokemon Go will have a collaboration with Pokemon Horizon, the series. So that's actually the new Pokemon anime. It's already been out in Japan, but finally March 7th is going to be worldwide, especially in the US. So it's kind of funny that the minute the worldwide release is out, they're doing a collaboration since, like I said, Pokemon Horizon was already been out in Japan. So what's going to happen? So first of all, there will be a Pikachu that wears a Captain hat, which is Captain Pikachu in the anime. Plus, if you ever do some sort of if you take a picture of your Pokemon, Liko and Roy might, let's just say, photobomb, and, it is what it is. Mobile wallpaper, whatever. But again, the collaboration, nice. Plus, there will be more Paldea Pokemon going to be in Pokemon Go. And then in Pokemon Sleep, 3 legendary Pokemon will be in it. The legendary dog Pokemon from the Johto region, Entei, Raikou, and Suikin. It's going to be there. So that's going to be at March. Props. And then Pokemon Master EX celebrating its 4.5-year celebration with a new version of Silver plus Geeta from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. She's the Pokemon champion there. There's more characters in the game. And then for Pokemon Cafe Remix, Gimmighoul will be in the cafe. It is what it is. Already, you got Koraidon, Miraidon. More Pokemon for that game. And then Pokemon Unite, Miraidon, Phanix, and Ceruledge will be in Unite. And if you put in PokéDay24 in the code, you're going to get a free license to play as Miraidon. And then the 2 big ones for this present. So first of all, finally, a Pokemon trading card game Pocket. So it's a mobile version, so I don't think it's integrated with the PC. Maybe it has its own, I don't know yet. But finally, you can play the trading card game in your mobile phone. And so it is look like it's a free to play. You do get free cards every day, probably not good ones. And if you know how to play Pokemon card game, this is what it is. Hopefully, probably much fun than Marvel Snap because, like I said, I have a friend who enjoyed Marvel Snap in the beginning, but in the end, I guess he's high in rank. He felt like people are cheating. I don't know what the deal is. I don't play Marvel Snap. And the game's not fun anymore. I heard a lot of people drop that, but that's a different story. But so finally now, Pokemon trading card game Pocket is going to come this year. Again, if you enjoy playing those games, there you go. There's a mobile version. Maybe even if you buy the real physical card, they'll start to have a code and you can put it in on your mobile version or digital version. Kind of like with Yu-Gi-Oh! They kind of did that. So, it is what it is there. And then, ending with this one is Game Freaks announced a new console Pokemon game. So, when I saw Game Freaks, and then I'm like, oh, shit. Are you shitting me? You're already doing a new Pokemon game. You haven't even fixed Scarlet and Violet. And sad part is with the DLC, because I bought it finally, the game performance was worse. What the shit? Game Freaks? Pokemon Company? Creature whoever? So, what happened is they finally showed a new legend. So let's just say sequel to the first legend. This legend line, let's go with that one. It's called Pokemon Legend Z-A or Z-Delta Z-Lambda. I don't even know what the A is, so no one knows. Right now, mostly people are just calling it Pokemon Legends Z-A. And what it is once again, it's in the Legend timeline. So what does that mean? So if you play Legend Arceus, the timeline is basically ancient Sinnoh. That's where the Hisui region. Before there was Sinnoh, there was Hisui, and it's basically like ancient Japan. Probably my guess is 1500 Sengoku era timeline. Just guessing because, again, remember, it's fantasy, real fantasy there. So by judging by the trailer, first of all, they showed some sort of blueprint. So they said they redevelopment Luminous City. The tower. When I saw that trailer, like, oh yeah, Luminous City, X and Y. And so what does it mean? It takes place in the future after X and Y, or takes place in the past, but sort of for the future. Now it's like 1950s, basically the revolution era, industry, machine. Who knows what it is? Again, no one knows, but the bottom line is that if you play the Legend series, what it means is that it's not going to be modern time like the main series. Usually it's like either further the future or in the past. Who knows? Heck, maybe there's even Pokemon Legend Paldea in the way future for the next Nintendo console. And then one of the characters there is the professors in that game when they're still alive, quote unquote. Because time travel, some weird shit in Paldea storyline, but whatever. I ramble enough. So, technically, yes. So, judging by the word Z, it could be the sequel to Pokemon X and Y. Because if you don't know the story behind it, when Pokemon Company announced Sun and Moon, they said, where's Pokemon Z? And I did mention it, the reason why they did not do it. Credit to Did You Know Gaming. They did say that there was plan at one point, but they kind of felt like those things doesn't sell. And it is true. Yellow, Emerald, Platinum, whether you like it or not, they don't sell because you're just repeating the game. Why not have a DLC? Granted that you can't because it's on a Game Boy Advance, DS respectively, so it doesn't make sense. So why not just make a sequel to X and Y now with Pokemon Legend Z-A? Kind of makes sense there. So again, no one knows what it is because at least for me personally, the good news is it's going to be 2025. And please, by the love of goodness, grace, Neptunia goddess, please be November to December 2025. Like, at least it kind of showed that they get it. Okay, we want to take our time. We don't want to screw this up like Scarlet and Violet because of the performance issue. So, again, who knows what it is. But also interesting is that Mega Evolution is going to be making comeback. Interesting there, but again, we have to wait and see. So, what does it mean? Well, one is there might not be any sort of Pokemon game in 2024. And I'm cool with that. I know another downside a lot of people are not happy is, well, what about Unova Remake? Well, here's the deal. If the Pokemon Unova Remake is developed by someone else, that's fine. Then that's cool. As long as it's not Game Freaks. That's the thing. What Game Freak made a mistake is they were developing Arceus Legend. At the same time, they were developing Scarlet and Violet. So that's kind of stupid in my opinion. So now they learned their lesson. So hopefully in 2024, they're finally just fixing the performance for the game. Or, I know, like I said, there was a rumor that they're going to do the performance patch fix for the next Nintendo console. Like in the case with the Nintendo Switch, they're going to take an L. And remember, it's backwards compatible. If there's some sort of boost mode, then it kind of makes sense. Why not? So we'll just have to wait and see. I think that's what it is. Because again, you never know. Again, by 2025, the next Nintendo console is probably going to be revealed. Just saying, makes sense. And then you say, well, then why is it still on the Switch? Why not on the Switch too? Again, it could be a generation game at the same time. Maybe it'll have some quote-unquote free upgrade. Again, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. So if it comes out November of 2025 at least, then I'm cool with it. At least kind of show that they are starting to take their time. They're not rushing it like before. And like I said, because it was easier probably because it was portable. But then when it comes to the Switch, they're like, yeah, I guess we kind of shot ourselves in the foot to some extent. Like I said, Sword and Shield did not have a national deck. They stopped doing it. But like I said, there are Pokemon that's sort of appearing now in 3D or in the Switch. They can hopefully retrofit it in the long run. But that costs money, and if it doesn't really worth their time, they probably won't do it. I don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see. So that is my thoughts. Again, interesting for 12 minutes. I like this. Fast pace. Show what it is. Done. You don't need an explanation. They get it. Let the trailer explain itself. So another thing I also forgot to mention about the Pokemon Legends Z-8. A lot of people complain about it. Where's the gameplay? Do you really want to show a gameplay, an alpha build of the game, and then you're going to complain that it's shitty? So the idea, I think, this one is to hype it out throughout to 2025 at least, so at least they can think Pokemon at a time. And then once 2025 comes, Pokemon Legends Z-A, there you go. So it'll be a while. Am I excited? Sort of. Am I interested in what they're going to show? Yeah. But do I need the information now, like, as soon as possible? No. I have a lot of games. I'm still trying to finish the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, because there's a lot of level grinding at this point on fighting against the Elite Four, if you know what I mean. Anyway, that's my thoughts. It is good what they're doing this format. They should keep it up. Shorter time. You don't need to talk about the Pokemon Championship. That should be a separate video. Clothes. Nobody gives a damn about Pokemon clothes. That's the casual. You can just do it in a separate video rather than putting it there. I know it kind of makes sense because a lot of people flock to it. But to some extent, the hardcore kind of get irritated. I know balance is probably the key, but, I like this format. It makes more sense. So anyway, with that, I'll see you guys later.